Not long enough, right? Is he here? Is he here? He's here, he's here. Who am I talking about? Well, a man, really, seriously, who needs no introduction whatsoever. If you don't know who this guy is, I don't know where you've been the last 10 or 15 years, all right? Because me, I've been at home listening to me rock records, and there is no better rock guitarist than the man I've got coming on right now. And if you don't believe me, settle back, because he'll be on in a second. Check this out, though. This is just a little reminder of who we're talking about. This is Mr. Jimmy Page and a bit of Dazed and Confused. Hello, Jimmy Page, how are you?
All right.
Okay. Listen, I love that clip. We don't see it very often on the show, but it always looked like you were about to curse the audience.
Yeah, maybe it looks like that, but it's not.
No?
I'm usually cursing the guitar.
So, Jimmy, as I'm sure most everybody knows right now, you've got your first solo album.
That's right, yeah.
Just released, called Outrider. I can't believe it's your first solo album. Seems like a hell of a time to...
Yeah, maybe it took a bit of time to pluck up courage for it.
Really?
Yeah.
But is it a move you feel comfortable with now? That
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I should have done it before, really.
Really?
Yeah.
What, before the firm, or?
Well, I don't know, somewhere back down the line, but you know, time permitting. This is the time that's right, anyway.
Right. A lot of people I know that have heard the album, the first thing they've said is they say it's a return to form for you. I think probably what they're saying is that perhaps the second firm album they're a little disappointed with.
Possibly.
Do you feel?
I mean, I thought the second firm album was good as the first one, within you know the framework of who was in it and everything.
Right.
I mean, I suppose this one, I suppose as far as being back to form or whatever, it's certainly just guitar. There's from my end of it, it's just vocalists, bass drums and various guitars in different shapes and forms. So I suppose if they wanted to hear a guitar album, they should do it.
Absolutely. I tell you what, we're going to talk a little bit more about your new stuff and lots of other things in a minute.
Okay.
But first, let's have a bit of vintage Jimmy Page. This is a band he used to play in a long time ago called Led Zeppelin. You might have heard of them, and this is a track called Black Dog. Bit of Led Zeppelin there, rockers, and a Black Dog. Jimmy, that's probably the most famous rock riff in the whole world.
Yeah, maybe.
It's got to be. I tell you, I was in America just a couple of weeks ago, and I was working late through the night and had the radio on just quite softly. It got to about 4:30 in the morning. I wasn't listening to anything that came on. It was just all coming in here and going out there. And suddenly I heard, "Hey, Mum," I said to me. It's like, whoa! And suddenly you could hear radios being turned up all over them.
Yeah, it's great. It's such an arresting start, isn't it? As well, the vocals, yeah.
Can you still actually remember sitting there and writing that?
Well, I remember writing part of it because Jonesy was part of the writing of that riff as well, actually. But, yeah, I remember doing it.
Now, of course, after Zeppelin, of course, there was a period where you didn't do anything for a long time, and then you were re-emerged with The Firm.
Yeah.
Which, I must admit, I thought was going to be one of those bands that did stay around for a lot longer than they did. Encapsulate the whole story of The Firm for me now in a nutshell. What happened there? Was it supposed to be a band that stayed together for much longer?
No. Initially, the idea was to combine talents of myself and Paul Rodgers and do an album and mainly get out on the road and do some touring. Just really one massive tour sort of thing, just to prove we were around and still kicking, But in fact, that sped to a second album and then another tour as well. And